Welcome back, Piglets, to another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. We are your brilliant hosts, Daniel, Sonny, and Taylor B. Today we also have a special guest once again. Welcome back, Joey. Glad to have you back.
Yeah.
We're probably just going to give you guys a quick little brief about day 2 of Flog Gnaw, seeing as how the internet kind of blew up about Drake getting booed off stage. It wasn't kind of what happened in from my view, but we'll get into that. And then we got a couple other topics for you guys too. But to start it off, at the end, as it's all said and done, what do you guys think about Flog Gnaw in total? If you had to grade it on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you guys give it?
A golf score. No, I'm kidding. No. No, I would give it, because I'm comparing it to last year, so I'd give it a solid 7 for me. Just because, that the lineup wasn't really as good as it was last year as a whole. But I can see why when you see who the headliner was. Like, he's not paying everybody and then paying Drake on top of that. But I really enjoyed it. Definitely got to hear my song. I got to mosh to my song, so that was perfect for me over at the Gold Link. Actually got to hear a song I'd never actually heard before with Gold Link. That song You Say with Tyler.
Oh yeah,
that's when he brought him out. I was just like,
that was cool.
I totally skipped that song when I was going through the album. What about you, Joey?
I'm gonna give it a 6. It's still climbing. It dropped to 5 after day 2. It really did drop to 5 after day 2 because the crowd took me out of it, man. The whole Drake thing ruined that for me, even though I had a good time. But yeah, like you said, it wasn't how it was perceived as strongly, but it was cool. The acts I did see, I enjoyed. YG disappointed me. He was so drunk on stage. And I wanted to see that. I made a point to see YG because I knew all his music. And when he got out there, he was slurring, and he even got mad at the crowd for not knowing his lyrics because they didn't want to sing it for him. But he couldn't sing his own lyrics because he was so sauced. So it disappointed me. Like, bro, this isn't the crowd where they're just gonna sing all your bars. Like, you're gonna have to have some stage presence.
You're not Tyler?
Yeah, no.
To me,
some stage presence.
To me, it was kind of funny seeing him go up there and try to bring up people again after he had the whole debacle about kicking the guy off stage for not saying "fuck Donald Trump" or whatever. I thought it was funny that the first guy he brought up there, he was like, "Oh, I can't shake hands," and then he was like, "Man, what you talking about? You can't shake hands," and he kicks that guy off. Nobody mentioned that one.
Because that was a racial comment. Nobody caught that. I caught that in the crowd. He was, I don't know how to dap like you black people because I'm white. That's what he was saying.
He tried to be funny and it blew up. It was horrible. Then the next guy he brought up was actually a Latino, so he didn't have no problems.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a setup or not, but it was kind of weird.
I'm certain that was a setup. It was awfully executed, in my opinion. I don't think anybody really cares that much, in my opinion, because nobody talked about it. The biggest thing that came from Flog Gnaw was Drake getting booed. It certainly wasn't that YG brought Stormy Daniels out on stage and said, "Fuck Donald Trump."
Yeah, I'm mad because that's what everybody took from it now.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I thought it was still pretty good. I'd probably give it, for the experience itself, I like walking around and like kind of seeing the people dressed up, just kind of like the energy of the place. I'd probably still give it at least an 8 out of 10 compared to last year. Like you said, the lineup probably wasn't as good in my opinion, but I still thought it was dope. It's I can't really think of a time where I was just I'm not interested in nobody that's here right now, except for the earlier crowds. Once the lineups really the people start kicking in, it was really an enjoyable experience for me overall.
Mm-hmm.
Second day got super sauced, got super drunk before we even got to the line.
Yes, he did.
I pretty much downed some Hennessy, and then as we were in the line, I'm telling Daniel, I'm like, "Oh shit, this is really kicking in a heck of a lot worse." Like I said, I got super drunk. We got into the crowd for IDK. We were in there right in the middle, pretty much. We were moshing with all the kids or whatever. It was fun. I had a good time. Played a lot of songs that I knew from his past few albums, and I thought that was really cool. Then we went on to Gold Link. Like Daniel said, he was moshing in there. We were having a good time. It was pretty dope. He brought out Tyler. I thought that was super dope. We all kind of met up a little bit. Me and Daniel kind of got into a little bit of a discussion, and Joey was involved about which way the car was.
We were hours away from leaving. It wasn't even relevant.
Yeah. It turned into what's a straight line and what's a curve.
But
we would have put flat earthers to shame right there.
Brandon was sauced though. Brandon was sauced up. Him and YG probably went shot for shot beforehand. But Brandon was sauced up, man. I won't forget talking to anybody and everybody on his way to wherever he was going.
He was running too. I was like, bro, I'm gonna lose you.
I'm over here sore from day one. This guy's running through crowds.
I did eventually get my merch, some of the stuff that I wanted to get, seeing as Daniel forgot the stuff that I wanted.
Oh my God.
Before we actually before we actually got there, I purchased a new pair of Vans and I got a long sleeve shirt button up. While we were at the festival, when I went to the merch booth, I got me some pairs of socks and one of those little Igor hats or whatever. Upon purchasing the hat, I realized later on that I was definitely drunk buying the hat because those hats don't make any sense. Like the style, like if you actually look at the hat, it makes no sense the way it's made. But whatever, I have a hat. Cool, whatever, right? Like they said, we saw YG. That was all right for me. You know, people were turning up, whatever. Went over to see the baby. The thing about the baby, and it's been said a lot. I feel like people talk about him switching up his flow, and I think he even mentions it in the song. He doesn't really do that, but because of like the energy that those songs all kind of carry, even though they all sound really similar or the same, it keeps the crowd going. You know, it keeps the crowd moving. He brought out some girls on stage. They danced. One of them was clearly a stripper because she outshined all the rest of the girls. And then he did a little bit of crowd surfing. You know, so it was cool. He put on a little performance. We had some fun. I thought it was a good time.
2 years. That's the lifespan for hype men.
Yeah,
2 years.
Probably about 2 years.
You've seen the Migos stay on top for about 2 years, and that's exactly what that is. Mm-hmm. So they're still relevant, they're still around, but people get tired of the same flow. And 2 years is about that lifespan. You have to switch up after that.
And then upon going to the final section, you know, it was a mystery, all the mystery around it, just question marks all weekend.
No, it wasn't. I was right.
His name got brought up just very slightly at one point of our conversation the night before. And when it happened, we just me and Daniel looked at each other like, oh, I guess so.
So at this point, we're all separated except for Daniel and Joy are together. I'm separated from them. So I'm kind of in the back, and I guess they were at the beer garden. My experience for the night was, all right, we're waiting. Tyler comes out about 5 minutes after the performance is supposed to start. All right, cool, it's Tyler. My immediate thoughts, though, because I was still kind of drunk, I also had a shot of whiskey and a shot of vodka later on, or I think 2 shots of vodka and another shot of whiskey. Like a little cup, whatever. Anyways, I was still thoroughly enjoying myself and enjoying my buzz, right? When Tyler came on stage, my first immediate thought was, I did not come here to watch you perform twice. That was my immediate thought.
Yo, I kind of felt the same.
Then he started talking, and I was like, okay, well, maybe he's going to say something and, you know, or introduce the next act or whatever, right? Because he didn't do this last year. He just watched Kids See Ghosts with us last year. So he goes, can I bring out some friends? All right, cool. He brings out A$AP Rocky, and I was like, this is cool. But once again, I did not come out here to see A$AP Rocky be the final performance, you know, like the headlining performance next to, I guess, Solange was the day before. He performs 2 songs, and then like right before the second song he performs, he goes, all right, before I get out of here, I'm gonna give you guys one more song. And he leaves. And I was like, all right, cool. So in my mind already, I'm thinking maybe it's A$AP Mob's coming out. Maybe that was like an introduction to like the Odd Future crew coming out. We're gonna get ready to rock out because, you know, he's like, oh, let's just party and have a good time for a couple minutes or whatever, right? Then you hear Money Longer Beat start playing. Lil Uzi Vert comes out. I don't think he really said any of his lines. That was like pure lip sync.
Yeah, I don't know. He was so into the crowd that he forgot that he was performing.
Yeah.
He ran and jumped on one of those lights and didn't say a single. I told Joyce he's not even rapping. He's not even performing. He's just standing there. Everybody else is doing his song for him.
Facts. Like it's a popular song, so most people know the words, but he was just kind of like there. It wasn't like, you know, people were hyped, oh my gosh, it's Lil Uzi, but it's like, you know, he performed 2 songs, got out of there. Him and Tyler had a little exchange about racing or something. I don't know. I guess Tyler's faster than him. Lil Uzi's pretty short, so that's not really that surprising.
I personally don't even care for his music. I want to watch him wiggle his shoulders. that's the funniest part to me. I don't know. He's a character though.
So once Lil Uzi Vert got off the stage, Drake eventually was introduced. You know, Tyler goes, "Can I bring out one more friend?" And then Drake comes out. Totally, for me, completely unexpected. I definitely thought the final act of the night was going to be Frank Ocean. Second of all, I definitely didn't even think that Drake was going to be the final act. I really thought he was going to come out, do 2 to 3 songs, and then be done.
Right.
He had this thing where he kept talking about...
He built it up.
Like, you know, like, I came out, Tyler paid me to come out here and do like 2 or 3 songs for y'all, but I'm going to keep going just for y'all, da-da-da. People were enjoying the music. They were hyped. They were pumped. All the people I was around, they were singing the words. They were jumping up and down. Everybody had their phones out trying to record. They were into it, you know? And then he kept doing that. He did that about 2 or 3 times. And then the final time, obviously, is like the big one that we all saw on the internet, at least. Everybody, I guess people booed him. I'm assuming that's like the front area, because where I was at, people were like, yeah. You know,
those so-called VIP people.
Exactly.
I had a friend that later I found out that was right near there, right in the center where Little Uzi was standing on top of so about right in the center of the crowd. I had a friend that was in there, and she was taking videos, and she let me hear from her perspective. It sounded a little different from where I was from, but to me, and collectively as a crowd, it sounded like the absence of response as opposed to boos and no's.
Yeah.
So anybody who's on stage, if you don't get positive reinforcement, it's anything other than clapping and screaming is pretty much not good.
Yeah.
And he was just like, well, I don't need to take this. I thought he handled it very well. He still shout out some love and he gave love to Tyler and he walked off.
Very professional.
So I gained a little respect from right there. I feel like people took it out on him for wrongfully anticipating other artists. So I didn't think that was fair either. But at the same time, I'm going to keep it all the way 100. People love Frank Ocean. They were waiting, maybe for an appearance from him. Last I remember, we were waiting how many years between his first album and his second album?
Yeah.
Just to be very honestly, let the down, okay? The album wasn't that great. And I love music, okay? And I give a lot of people a chance. I've listened to all the people that I've convinced now that I don't like. I've given them all a chance. So of course I'm gonna listen to Frank because Channel Orange was my hit,
Yeah.
And it kind of disappointed me. So what did they expect him to go up there and sing those really slow whatever songs as
After
the
all
final
the energy we just
as the final performance? I wouldn't have felt it either.
Drake did 9 songs. That's more than a lot of people did combined.
Not to mention like 3 or 4 throwbacks, bangers that Tyler himself requested, which kind of made sense because the songs that he performed, you would kind of think, oh, they're a little more melodical, and they still slap, which is a Tyler type thing. So I enjoyed it. I think just the crowd kind of sucked the energy out the space. And I'm glad that Tyler brought it to everybody's attention online. He went to Twitter right away and he was like, pretty much my fans suck right now, still thank Drake. And then Drake went on to be kind of funny, petty about it. And he said, guess what, Flog Gnaw, I signed a 10-year contract. You'll see me every year, You saw that? I don't know if that's true or not. Kind of hope it is to troll him, but.
Oh, it's definitely true. But the issue I have with that is now the ticket prices are going to go up.
Ticket prices?
Because
I don't know.
If you put, that's what somebody was talking about that in our section. He was saying if you put Drake's name on the ticket, prices shoot up at least $100.
Yeah.
So him being a secret and coming like that did everybody a favor.
Yeah, but festivals, you don't perform full sets like that. You don't. You perform an hour tops, just like the other ones. They were on there for about 40 minutes. Even if Drake gives you 40 minutes, he's not going to supercharge everything else. He has a home in LA, I think. He has a lot of friends in LA. It's a place where he's welcome. So
it's Calabasas, not
LA. Sorry.
My thing with Drake, even if he doesn't have the residency, my thing with Drake period was just that some people have been saying that, if Drake would have been on the lineup, like people would have known that the turnout wouldn't have been the same or whatever. And I think that's ludicrous because he's one of the biggest megastars in the world. Absolutely. I think there would have been way more people there. The tickets would have sold out immediately, and he wouldn't have had to wait till the last minute to talk about, hey, tickets are almost out. Get yours before they're sold out or whatever, Mm-hmm. And then, people were all in the comments on every post after the initial lineup was released talking about, imagine spending money for this. Hey, I got a VIP ticket for sale. I got a regular ticket for sale, hit me up or whatever. People were just trying to get rid of that ticket because it was not as impressive as it was last year. And I think overall, aside from people not knowing or the ticket price going up and then it selling out faster if Drake's name's on there, I think you eliminate the confusion of anything. You eliminate speculation. You eliminate confusion. You eliminate the want for more or to feel like it's not enough or something, If Drake's name's on there, we know that when he comes out, he's the last one. So if he says, I can keep going for y'all, the crowd is more like, this is it, y'all. So we better give him that energy so he can keep going.
Also, it's in the name. It's Camp Flog Gnaw Carnival. It doesn't say, I know there's musical artists. The definition of a carnival doesn't exactly give you concert details. You know what I'm saying? There's rides, there's games, there's food. That's what makes a carnival, So over anticipating certain acts and stuff, if you really like music, you'll find your way there anyway. And the fact that people think if they knew it was Drake, people wouldn't show up, that's crazy because one, did they sell one day tickets? No. Okay, so it's a whole weekend. So people who want to see Tyler and people who want to see the people who were there were going to buy tickets anyway. And people who are Drake fans would have been convinced to go. Exactly. So you literally would have doubled your crowd if people would have known.
But it's still, I don't understand how people were so angry that it wasn't Frank. Tyler did She the night before and didn't bring out Frank. Mm-hmm. That should have been the key to everybody. He's not here. He's not coming. He played the one song everybody knows Frank is on.
My last and final gripe with Flog Gnaw, because the experience overall for me is enjoyable, but like my biggest gripe is, and the same thing happened last year. For whatever reason, when the acts end, it just ends. Like I get Drake walked off stage or whatever, and like you said, like nobody was really for sure like, oh, this is the end or whatever, because there's plenty of time left. last year Kids See Ghosts performed for like a whole hour before it was over. But it just the way that it ends though, it's so abrupt. It's not like it doesn't immediately turn into like, oh, thanks guys, see you guys next year. Like there's no the host or whatever. I guess if that would be Tyler, he didn't really do that last year. But this year he's on stage talking about that. I think he should have came back on stage and let us know it's over then, that's it or whatever. But he had obviously seen some people in the crowd and was like, dang, like these people are angry. Some of these people are angry supposedly or whatever. So he had a little bit of an experience for himself too.
What do you think he told Drake behind the scenes as he was running away?
Probably nothing. Well, he was watching. He said that he's seen a girl's face in the crowd that she like yelled his name. And then like he said like the girl's face was all red and puffy and like there was like tears coming out of her face. Like she was so angry. And he said like he saw her and looked away and he was just like, bro, that was not cool. So he was probably nervous about the fans too. Like I hope they don't tear this down.
Don't leave.
There's actually easy ways. What you said about kind of doing an outro to those sets. There's actually kind of ways to cheat concert wise. At the end of everybody's set, if they would have had a similar backdrop go on the screens that says, thank you for listening at this time, blah blah. If they would have had something that's give the carnival some kind of consistency. Yeah. Then people would have known. But yeah, when the screens just go black, you're just like, is this a setup?
Yeah, like it's somebody coming out, somebody popping up.
That's how everybody came out with the blacks, everything blacked out. But my final gripe with it is it's in LA and I only saw like 2 Nipsey references from Juice WRLD and then from YG, and that was it. I'm like, you're in his hometown, you at least say rest in peace or something.
But the one thing about that though that I want to say is that in doing so, that it kind of like people might think you're fake or you're just hopping on the bandwagon in that sense. Like if you don't know Nipsey enough to be like either familiar with his music or to have like really worked with him or like known him in that degree, then it's hard for you to just say like, oh hey, let me just shout out this guy that I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, just keep it 100. Like yeah. I am surprised, but at the same time, well, Thundercat mentioned something. He's, he stays in LA and Nipsey's very wide in LA. He also mentioned Mac Miller, who is very close to. I think YG showed a picture of Nipsey and one other person. But other than that, it's not something people was focused on.
Yeah,
I guess, especially not in that crowd. But yeah, I don't really have no issues. I think just the last part kind of sucks some of the energy from it.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't stop me from going to the next one.
And for some reason, I don't know what it is, but that trek back at the end of it all, it's so exhausting. Mm-hmm. It's like you walk that both days, but the second day, it's just so much harder to walk back to the car.
It's that curve.
Oh my gosh. All right. Anyway, but that pretty much wraps up that for Flog Gnaw Day 2. I mean, overall, I guess we all enjoyed it. We had a good time. I would like to go back next year. I don't know about you guys.
As I think back, I realize I've enjoyed it more than I'm giving it credit right now. I think I'm just still sour at the whole ending issue. I was kind of messed up. And also now it's kind of a setup for like if Frank Frank Ocean ever performs, now we're just kind of like,
you owed us this a long time ago.
Yeah, now, just how we felt with his album. So honestly, don't get mad at Drake. Get mad at Frank Ocean if anybody, but everybody has their own lives. And Drake went out of his way to go perform. At least appreciate the person who showed up.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's that simple for me.
And we missed Jaden too at the Willow show.
Oh, my bad. I had to go get a shirt because I didn't have another one that I wanted to wear.
All right.
Real quick, I know you guys know about that Popeye's chicken sandwich craze, right?
I refuse to take part. It's crazy.
So at the end of day 1, we get back to our friend's house that we were staying at for the festival. He tells us, hey man, I bought you guys all a Popeye's chicken sandwich, but I accidentally ate 2 of them. So there's only 2 for you guys to share. And I say, all right. But on the way back, we had a little bit of a debacle the day before where we tried to get rallies. They were only accepting cash. We only had cards. So we ended up getting Del Taco instead. So on the way back.
Not by choice.
Yeah, not by choice. On the way back on day 2, we decided to go to rallies because now we have cash because we pulled out some cash for Flog Gnaw. And we get the rallies. So we go back. So none of us are really interested in the Popeye chicken sandwich. But our friend Gilbert made it a very big deal that we had to try this. And he like cut it up and everything. That thing is huge, man.
That's that vodka water.
That thing is.
This man served me a cup of vodka mixed with water, and he said, "It's diet, but it'll get you messed up." Thanks. But he served us that Popeye's chicken sandwich. He cut it into 4 pieces. I don't really know what to think though. I mean, it was not like it was fresh. The piece of chicken was big, but the bun made it look sad. I don't know if the bun was a little weird colored looking and kind of like the bun looked dry, but at the same time oily. I was mad confused. I don't know.
Have you tried the sandwich at all, Sonny?
No, I haven't. Sam did. I don't remember what he said about it though.
Oh, okay. Well,
at the end of the day, it's a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
It is the most basic thing. Every restaurant has one. I'm not waiting in no long lines just because social media told me that there's debate between places and who has a good chicken sandwich. I'm sorry, but the McChicken at McDonald's has been saving my broke friends for years, and there's no way I'm turning my back on that one. Even the spicy one hit. Tell me the spicy one don't hit. But anyway,
the only thing special I saw about that when he did bring it was the size. I was like, that's a huge piece of chicken. All kind of steroids in it. I'm not touching
Which brings another question. Exactly. How natural was this chicken?
Yeah.
Because this guy was hitting 2-a-days in the gym.
He brought out the Barry Bonds of chicken.
The size of that beak.
In the world of sports, real quick, since this kind of also happened today, Colin Kaepernick had his workout today. Did you guys watch any of it at all?
I didn't watch any of it. I plan on doing that later when I'm focused, so I could really dial in on his
skills, set.
Yeah.
That's if it happened, because
it did.
From what I read, at the last minute, he was just like, I'm gonna change venue, I'm gonna change the time and everything.
That's another thing that concerned me.
Right.
So there was a lot of kind of details as far as waivers and things like that his people were trying to get them to sign or whatever, like injury liability waivers and all that stuff. I'm assuming so that there's no if something was to happen to him during this, then he's okay or whatever. They weren't really feeling that, I guess, for whatever reason. They weren't trying to give him that outlet, and I guess they were trying to limit the media access too.
NFL made it as hard as they could for him. That's exactly how that feels.
So was
no media attention. What does that do for you?
So they tried to. It was scheduled for 3 p.m. and then the NFL claims that he notified them at 2:30 p.m. that he was going to reschedule it and do his own workout, and that all media was going to be invited. They put it out on Twitter and everything. They said any media that wants to go is more than welcome to be there. Contact us and we'll give you the information to be there. I don't know any of the players who were there with him, if there was any players that were that he was throwing the ball to or anything like that. And I also don't know who was actually there. It looked like it was at a school or something.
Yeah, it was at a high school.
I had heard how many teams showed up. I had heard a rumor it was somewhere in the 20s.
There was supposed to be 24 at the original one.
26 teams. Okay, so here's my problem. He's been out of the NFL for what, 2.5 seasons, 3 seasons?
Yeah.
Okay. You have a workout and 26 teams agree to show up and watch you. What happened the last 3 years? You were willing to go watch him now that everybody's going to go see. Let's go see. If you're not desperate for a quarterback, don't even show up because I don't need that kind of. Now you're just trying to see what other people are into. I'm sorry. 1, that don't make sense. That don't sit well with me. 2, we all kind of understand. Well, people who watch sports all kind of understand. The last time he left the NFL, it's not like he was a bad quarterback. I mean, he was in the playoffs.
We've seen Super Bowl. He was in the playoffs. He had his best game of his career.
We've seen plenty of mediocre/bad teams with subpar and much worse quarterbacks.
Sam Darnold, Trubisky.
I'm a Jaguars fan. I had to watch Blake Bortles lead. Oh my God, I hate saying that word. Lead my team into the playoffs. And still almost beat the Patriots. If we would have had Kaepernick or someone of that sort, we're probably winning that game. So I'm not going to live that down. I've watched Kaepernick do just fine. And now the whole running quarterback with mediocre throwing stuff. Kaepernick's not a mediocre thrower. He's got a little bit of an arm, so I just don't see the reason why. And I hope it's not just all the whole politics and the NFL stuff with, standing for what you believe in or taking a kneel, actually. But I'm just wanting to get back in the league, to be honest.
And then from what I read actually today, they were saying that he had to move it to get more media attention because why he was getting no traffic for those 3 years, because all the teams had to go to the league and say, is it okay if we interview him? Is it okay if we bring him in?
Exactly.
Like, what's the difference? Why would you have to go through the NFL if he wasn't being blackballed?
What's the difference? Why can people pay $150 to literally try out for an NFL team? Something like that. Like you can walk into a tryout, pay whatever the fee is, and people can pick you up off the street. Like I was bagging groceries 5 months ago, and now I'm on the practice squad, and now I'm like the 5th option wide receiver. And guess what? Guys got hurt. Now I'm the number 2 receiver. How can we do that for random people as opposed to a guy that's already a seasoned player? It just doesn't make sense. But I'm glad he's got his chance, hopefully on the way. And on that topic too, I'm glad Melo's getting his chance too, because he's been out the league NBA style. And he's finally getting his shot with the Blazers.
Yeah, Blazers.
So we'll see what happens with. Granted, you're not gonna get no defense, but you gonna get a hell of a jump shooter and possibly some more wins per season. But I hope both of them get back in.
I feel like his play style is kind of dead now. Nobody ISOs anymore.
Let's keep it real. He's going to the team that specifies in that. They do that over there. You know what I'm saying? They ISO McCollum. They ISO Lillard. There's no more Nurkic in there. But back to the Kaepernick thing, yeah, I'm glad he's got his chance, and I want him to get back in.
Last thing for Kaepernick, though. You guys respect him or you don't respect him if he doesn't kneel?
If he doesn't kneel?
If he doesn't kneel.
That's not, I don't expect him to do anything. I mean, do you have to be, the thing I don't like about football is they make too many rules around things that have nothing to do with football.
Game, yeah.
You're making people have to give, like interviews and stuff, pregame, postgame. I get paid to put on cleats and catch balls and throw balls. You know what I'm saying? I get paid to get that out of my contract. I think that's the next thing contract is judge me and pay me as a football player. If I act out on the field, great. Off the field, leave me alone. That's the next thing to come in contracts, to be honest.
But I think what they will do, because my Panthers actually got Eric Reed. So the first time he got on the field, they showed him kneeling, but they haven't showed him since. So I think they'll show him that one time. Like, oh, look, if he does make the field, oh, look, Kaepernick's still kneeling. And then if he's still kneeling, they're not going to show him on camera at all unless he's on the field.
Because at the end of the day, Eric Reed is going to pop you in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hell of a safety. And what else do you care about? Other guys. Richie Incognito, where's he on now? The Raiders?
No,
where's he at?
Still playing?
He's on the Raiders right now. I believe he's on the Raiders.
Oh, wow.
He was with the Bills, which he had an incident with, and on his own team in the locker room after he was released by the Dolphins, where he had issues in the locker room with other teammates.
And on the field, that dude swung his helmet at him.
And not even trying to make this about I know it's a racially charged issue that Kaepernick was, defending his people for and with the kneeling. But if you take away the races from all of it and you just take people's statistics and their history, there's no way one guy can be in the NFL and the other one can't.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's just so ridiculous. I hope politics doesn't get mixed up with sports ever again. I hate that already. But yeah, there's just a lot of situations in the NFL that's not right. And I'm glad people are bringing light to it. And I think there definitely needs to be a change up in the head office at some point very soon. It's just too much money in it, and you know how that goes.
Speaking of heads, somebody almost got theirs taken off the other day.
Well, technically.
Oh, man.
I think it's been blown out a little bit of proportion, but.
No, definitely not. You're talking about Myles Garrett swinging
the helmet at Mason Rudolph?
Swinging the quarterback's helmet that he ripped off and still swung it at him. I could not believe that happened.
So, okay, I have obviously multiple sources where I'm getting information from, and I've seen multiple things come out. I've seen the video itself. I've seen like the memes there's a plethora of memes about Mason Rudolph specifically. Nobody else, just him specifically.
Mm-hmm.
There's the first thing I heard though was that he allegedly kicked Myles Garrett in the groin, which like that would make me mad too. But I feel like a lot of that does come with the game. The angle from it is it's not in motion. It's just a picture that I've seen.
Not
where
only
he's
that,
like on the back, he's on his back and his like cleat is up. I have literally like not on purpose, but like I've like fallen backwards and like my legs kicked out and I've hit somebody in the face with my feet.
But not only that, that picture from that supposed kick, that came after a dirty hit on him. So it's not like he instigated it. It's not like he initiated contact.
Because a lot of people
quarterbacks get hit. Quarterbacks get hit often, and they'll get mad, but they know this is the position. I get hit sometimes.
Only certain quarterbacks get hit.
Oh, come on.
Tom Brady hasn't been hit in 5 years.
Everybody gets hit. Everybody gets hit, man.
Smacked though?
Here's the thing. So this is how this play went out. Myles Garrett comes off. He's playing he's playing left end, right end. He's coming on the quarterback's blind side, right? Mm-hmm. Which is usually the fastest pass rusher comes off.
He was on the D
tackle. Off the left tackle, right?
He was on D tackle.
He got right in there. Great play. He got his hand on him right away, which would have been a clean hit if he would have just popped him and let it go. But you must have seen him get rid of the ball. As soon as you wrapped up, take him to the ground, let go. That's how that goes. He held on to him, did like this little side spin, and held him on the floor. And when he was trying to get up, I believe there was a kick. I'm okay with it. Get the hell off of me. You already threw me to the ground.
Exactly.
Then you want to react and pull his helmet off and then swing at his head.
But I heard that he tried to do the same thing to him, though. I haven't seen no pictures of that, but I heard that's what happened.
Anything after that first late hit is self-defense. I'm okay with it because quarterbacks don't hit people. They take hits. So you have to assert yourself. You have to get in somebody's grill. He didn't try to rip his head. He was getting in his face like, what's wrong with you? Don't do this, blah, blah. Quarterbacks are susceptible to all kinds of injuries, let alone like leg stuff. But head stuff, like nobody wants to get hit in the head. And the fact that he came after him, he just escalated it too far two wrongs don't make a right, but Myles Garrett definitely went out of his way a second time, which is not cool. And you come after a guy's head. If he would have hit him with the solid part of the helmet, cracked his head, concussion, guys retire from the NFL for concussions now.
Yeah.
If you would have broke something or, jogged something loose, water in the brain, anything, you're looking at jail time because now you use something as a weapon.
Well, some people say that this should be considered a crime, and that
It is.
Mason Rudolph should be able to press charges.
Oh yeah, definitely
on the situation.
And he's not though. He already said he's not going to press.
He's
charges.
not because he knows that but he has to understand he got lucky. He got lucky. I mean, sports are like that. Sports are they're supposed to be games. They're supposed to be fun. When you take your competitive to an aggression instead of a tactic, that's when you got me messed up. Baseball could be just as dangerous. Guys are holding bats. You don't see guys charge the mound with a bat. They throw the bat to the ground and throw them hands.
You guys didn't think that Rudolph was pulling at the other guy's helmet first?
I definitely
definitely. But there was stuff that going into that before that. I mean, that happened before, right?
Well, did Garrett or Rudolph ever come out and talk about it and say what happened, or no?
Garrett just said that it was foolish. That's all I've heard from his side of it, at least. I don't think he's really got into like the details of like exactly what started it, but he feels that way. His actions were foolish.
I expect nothing less from the Browns. They're terrible on the field and they're terrible off the field, and now they're terrible on both, like off the play and on the field at the same. It's a bad look. The NFL will say it's a bad look for the NFL, but honestly, people have, personalities, and it's a bad look for the Browns.
It's a great look for the NFL. People have been wanting violence in the NFL for years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. People in the NFL will say it's a bad look because, well, here's the thing. You say, somebody with the thing with Adrian Peterson, he over disciplined his child, and they did no, but hear me out though. He over disciplined something, which is critiquing someone's parenting style, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, he beat his children with the whatever. You know how many of my friends I know got their ass whooped with objects? With objects? Thank you. And the NFL said, we're not going to stand for this. But it's great for ratings, and we'll stand for somebody coming after somebody's head. Now you got a problem. Didn't we have issues with the Bounty Gate about 5-6 years ago? Exactly. That's literally people trying to hurt people during plays, which is more legal than after the whistle's blown and I ripped off your helmet and swung it at your boy's head. So there's too much gray area with these rules, and I'm not okay with any of it.
What about Pouncey?
Oh, Pouncey did what he's supposed to do.
Yeah,
that's my quarterback.
Why is he in trouble though?
Oh, because how he retaliated.
No, he's in trouble because he's stupid. He's trying to kick somebody's head with a helmet on.
That deserves a suspension. Guys get concussions with helmets on. There's nothing. Pretty much, he said, "Dang, you really." Pouncey is a center, a Pro Bowl center, by the way. He's an offensive lineman, probably top 5 in the league, to be honest. Now that his brother's out with a neck injury, he plays for the Chargers. But he's probably top 5 center at his position. Any offensive lineman knows that when your quarterback gets hit with a late hit, you get in somebody's grill like, "Hey man, like that's my guy. That's my guy."
That's my quarterback.
But not only when did your guy get hit with a late hit, he got his helmet ripped off and then swung on. What you thought he was going to do? That's literally the reason. Like, he gets paid to be the center protection for his quarterback, and that goes beyond just the plays. So he actually he went out there and started kicking him. So it was actually pretty turned into WWE right there. I saw more of the E from the ESPN with the entertainment factor in that game. That was scary.
Yeah, I feel like I think like half Samoan too.
I don't know.
I was about to say, you definitely don't mess with anybody they're very fond of, or that's definitely their boy.
Next topic is going to be Sonic. Have you guys seen the trailer for that?
No, I've seen the original with the goofy looking Sonic.
I have not seen though. I did see what everybody's gripe was, because that first one was like, the
changes that were made.
The changes made it completely better. It made it look like the actual game. I don't know what that first one was.
It's crazy because when people were complaining about it, I was just in mad agreement. I was like, all the complaints they're making, I thought all of that stuff to myself. I didn't say it out loud because I just take movies for what they are. But when he came out looking kind of goofy and not cartoonish enough, I was actually upset. So when they changed it, I was actually very impressed. Mm-hmm. It's not often movie makers go out of their way to like please people who want to go see it.
Well, they pretty much have to. That's who you're making the movie for. That's your target audience. You want people that are going to come, because normal people like me, like I'm not gonna care either way because I'm not planning on seeing the movie. But the people that are actually gonna show up to come watch it, they want an accurate depiction of it, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
I mean, if they came out with a Nipsey Hussle movie and they had him looking like Lawrence Tate out here, you'd be like, nah, fam.
As far as the Sonic movie is concerned, the original trailer wasn't that great to me. Like, just like to a lot of other people, he didn't look like Sonic so much. He looked like a weird alien creature that came from another planet, which is evidently what's going on in this film. But I didn't really like the design personally. I wasn't super anti against it because that's what Hollywood tends to do. They tend to take from whatever popular series or franchise is going and say, hey, let's make this movie. And then it just turns out looking and being nothing like the original content whatsoever. We've seen it a bunch of times. Netflix has been doing it.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that Dragon Ball Z, that live action one.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know.
We don't talk about that here. That's definitely an abomination. Netflix, like I said, has also done it too. They had the Death Note live action animation movie. They had the Bleach one, which that actually wasn't too terrible. That's probably the best one I've ever seen. They've done a bunch of other ones. Full Metal Alchemist. They've done a Mob Psycho.
We'll have to see how that Avatar one comes out.
Yeah, they're redoing the whole series in like I think 45-minute episodes or hour-long episodes or something instead of like the 30-minute episodes the original show had.
I hope it's good.
So yeah, hopefully that'll be good. But I think it's great to see that the internet and that the people actually do have some power instead of just like we just have to take everything as it is, as it's given to us. And like recently today, I saw that is it Disney? I think it is. I want to say Disney is in talks with making a new Dragon Ball Z movie. I don't know if this is confirmed or not. This could be just a rumor or it could be a fake.
Yeah, I did not see that.
When I saw this, people were like, "Oh no, they didn't learn from last time," stuff like that. To me, I think no, let them do it because now we know that we have the power to change things. If we don't like it, then we don't want it. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's important to me because they're going to release a trailer and it's going to come out months, if not almost a year before the final film is released. So that it has time for reshoots and to redo things and change things however they want to change it. I mean, look at the Avengers. Not that anybody complained about that, but Infinity War, that whole like war scene was completely different than the actual final outcome. The Hulk was in that trailer. The Hulk didn't appear but in the very beginning of that movie, and the Hulkbuster was at the end of the film. That's two completely separate entities. That's a lot of work, I'm sure, that somebody had to do to be like, hey, let me put the Hulk out here. You guys are going to be in the woods or going to be like in an open jungle area. You guys are all going to be running together. And now the Hulk's not here. We're in an open area where you can see the sky above us, a completely different setting. So
I thought that came out that was purposeful. Like
it was, but I'm just saying that it costs money though to do that kind of stuff, you know. And obviously some scenes were cut out. Like we never get to see the scene of Black Widow and Bruce Banner talking while he's like repairing the Hulk armor or anything like that, you know. Like,
did you read the article about Age of Ultron? Originally, it was going to have they confirmed in the release in the box set, Captain Marvel was supposed to be in that one.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that. I heard that they were originally going to do a giant Ultron for the final villain. That's what I heard. That's the only thing I heard about that film.
Yeah, I just read an article that in the box set it comes out that's what was intended. Instead of Scarlet Witch's entrance, like big entrance, it was supposed to be Captain Marvel.
Okay. That'd have been interesting.
You mentioned
I prefer Scarlet Witch.
You mentioned Disney there for a second.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to touch on Disney Plus real quick.
I haven't really got to see anything, but the internet is on fire talking about Disney Plus. Disney Plus this and Disney Plus that. And Disney Plus and I don't know what their little saying is, like Netflix and chill, but I know they got one out there. Has anybody been on there yet talking about it or looking at anything?
No, but I haven't been on there. I'm probably gonna get that pretty soon. I'll see. I don't really care what other people think. I'm gonna be on there to see what I want to see.
Yeah, I just got it today.
I grew up watching Disney, so I'm gonna go watch the old shows that came out when I was a preteen. You know, not 8 to 13 to 15 is pretty much that. I want to go see Brink. I want to go see Extremely Goofy Movie. I want to see, you know what I mean? I will fill the cracks of my childhood, and I'm okay with it.
The only problem I have with it is, along with all those releases, they released all the racist cartoons on there too, from like the 50s and the 40s,
which is insane.
Disney is Disney, man, and it's
I mean, at least they're not cutting it out.
They released a statement saying something that like some of this stuff is basically not okay today.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what you have to be okay with now. Entertainment definitely had its era. You know what I'm saying? Just like sometimes when I think it depends on what you're talking about. We're talking about movies and cartoons.
Yeah.
I mean, as a Latino, there aren't many. We had Pepe Le Pew. We're represented by a skunk. It was French, right? That's the closest.
And the mouse, right?
and the mouse.
Really-
Speedy Gonzalez.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we got Speedy Gonzalez, who's Mexican, I guess, and
And the slow one was
French.
I don't even remember what his
apart
name
from
was.
that's pretty much it. So I'm not saying it's better to have racist cartoons, but at least black people are thought of.
Well, like, so I have it. So I've been watching movies. So like The Old Lady and the Tramp, and I just watched Aristocats last night. They both have like racist Asian stereotypes. I mean, they didn't cut it out, is my point. I don't know if you read about the Star Wars scene, the Han Solo shot being edited again for like the 4th time.
Oh, so Han Solo doesn't shoot first?
Yeah, and then they added like some weird like line for the, what is his name, Greedo?
Guido.
So yeah, he got some weird line. I don't know. It's a joke. I guess you guys haven't seen it. My bad.
Ultimately, I'm not so focused on the negative side of everything. I feel like this world always focuses on the negative stuff. Take it for what it's good for. There's not gonna be. I mean, Disney has its history. Walt Disney himself is from where?
I thought he was American.
You know what I mean? Is he Russian or something or German? I don't know, but
Isn't he? He's anti-Semitic though.
Yeah, he is,
well,
but
Freemason.
or was.
use it for what you want to. If you disagree with I mean, how many restaurants have come out with saying that people from our industry are a certain kind of way or this, but people keep going to buy their products and that. I mean, my friend, my friend made a joke. My friend's black. And he said, "Hey man, look, my great grandfather used to pick cotton. You don't see me wearing polyester around this motherfucker." You know what I'm saying? So you have to know that the times change, and if you're not the type of soul that is so sensitive and you're able to progress, you know, more power to you. Life's not worth stressing over. So I'm not gonna go to Disney Plus looking for issues. I'm just gonna use it for the things that I want to use them for.
Absolutely, I agree with that sentiment totally. As a viewer of Disney stuff, like from when I was a kid or whatever, nothing that I watched had anything like that in it. So I'm gonna watch the stuff that I wanted to watch.
Exactly.
Not trying to pay any attention or put focus on the other stuff. I also want to point out real quick, The Mandalorian. None of us have really been watching Disney Plus, but for the last couple of days, it's been the talk of the town, and it's so awesome. Oh my gosh, it's the greatest show of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's chill out for a second there. 2 episodes have come out, and you guys are all focused about this Baby Yoda thing or this baby of Yoda species who's around 50 years old, so he's not even a baby. I just want to say, let it breathe. Let it breathe for a second. Give it some time, and then we'll find out if it's really worth the hype.
Aliens,
didn't
They
know,
didn't show his face yet.
They showed the Mandalorian's face? I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, so my theory is still could be right that it's a woman.
I have no idea. Could be. We'll find out, I'm sure. But you know, like I said, well, let's just enjoy it while it's here, and hopefully, you know, it first and foremost, hopefully it stays that $12.99 with ESPN Plus and Hulu
Right.
as well.
I was about to throw
It's
that
the
in there
biggest
too.
thing.
If you have Hulu already, you don't have to get Disney Plus with the Hulu included. But that ESPN Plus is gonna do people wonders because I know plenty of guys who want that for the ESPN Plus, and the Disney is just there for the kids.
Wait, it's all 3 of those for $12.99?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all 3 of those services.
Don't get Hulu Live. It's a waste of your time. Letting y'all know that right now.
Well, I get Hulu from my sister, so whatever she got is what I got.
I got Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Netflix, and Amazon Video, I guess, because I have Amazon Prime, but I never use Amazon Video though.
Oh, that's where you're lacking right there. That Amazon Video, bro. They got all the movies I never thought I'd see.
So I just real quick question, excluding I guess Disney Plus, unless you've already dug into it. What's your favorite movie watching site, if I could say that? Like movie
legally?
streaming service. Oh, I guess legally.
It would probably have to be Netflix, just because I've had it for so long and it's done me right for so long.
And the originals hit a lot stronger than what you think.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like an Adam Sandler's fan. Adam Sandler. Because he's got like
I think
infinite movies on there.
I think Netflix's content is highly underrated. I think they put out quality content just like any other studio or any other powerhouse. I think it's not really fair that people can just keep talking about the end of Netflix or it's basically the demise of Netflix is coming soon or whatever, you know. I don't think it's really fair. And if it does, I mean, that sucks. Like, think about all the content we're going to lose once Netflix is gone. Sure, they can put out their DVDs or whatever, but it doesn't really make sense to have that when you could have had their whole entire catalog for $12.99 a month. You know, like why eliminate that and then they just become like everybody else? Oh, we're just making movies, you know, or we're gonna give all our content to Hulu or whatever. You know, it doesn't make any sense. So I definitely think people should still support Netflix as much as they can, if they can, you know.
Nah. Listen here, my loves.
Why?
Okay. Monique didn't get her money. Netflix don't get my money. It's a team around here.
Okay, look. So we're kind of.
Well,
Go ahead.
did you hear? You saw that Netflix is signing with Nickelodeon, right?
I did see that, and I think that's cool. But do you think that's enough to compete with Disney Plus and Hulu?
I don't know. If they come
Yeah,
out with
it
another
most
invader
definitely is enough to compete with Disney.
Recess, hey,
For
Arnold.
multiple reasons.
Recess is Disney.
For multiple reasons. Disney was a high priority daytime television, stuff. Late night Disney was cool. Kids was going to sleep. The bad kids stayed up at night to watch Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and that's facts.
That's true.
So if Netflix can bring,
I think
Nickelodeon-
I think that if Netflix would have went the route of teaming up with like Cartoon Network, like even Adult Swim or something like that, that would have been a much more profitable margin for them versus going with Nickelodeon. You're just okay, cool. You're going to bring back old cartoons just like Disney did, but Nickelodeon doesn't have the revenue that Disney has. It doesn't have the monthly movies were coming out when we were kids every month for I don't know, like our whole childhood basically. They have a whole
But
catalog
a
of movies
lot
coming out.
of celebrities that these kids are following now came from
Also-
Nickelodeon too.
They also came from Disney as well, though.
Also, I feel like Disney. When I think about Disney, I prioritize their movies as opposed to shows. Nickelodeon gave me a lot more shows that I was willing to watch because Disney, it's like when you get Disney shows, when you get older, they kind of get outdated on you. You kind of just like, that's not my age range no more. But for some reason, Nickelodeon shows, I can go back and watch and feel like, oh, I'm rewatching this. I don't know what it is. I mean, there's selective shows with Disney, but Disney, you think about movies. You think about the classic movies. Nickelodeon, I'm thinking about TV.
The only thing that I would say would just kind of screws up the argument now about like as far as like Disney specifically versus Nickelodeon is that like if I look at Disney like just like to the meat and potatoes of it all, then I agree with you 100% as far as like the content, what they put out and stuff. I would much rather have watched Nickelodeon all day versus having to watch Disney all day. The only problem is now with Disney being a powerhouse with their amusement parks and owning all this stuff, Disney owns a lot of stuff that people are fail to remember that it's a Disney property now, such as anything pretty much superhero related. So they got X-Men, like the old school series. They got the old school Spider-Man stuff. They got anything that's Marvel related, old school Avengers. They have Gargoyles. They have all the Transformers stuff. Like it's a lot of content that.
What about
Disney
Street
alone-
Sharks?
I don't know where that falls in actually, but it's not Hasbro.
I think people are gonna be torn between the two. It's gonna want to stir battles like, oh, what's better, this or that, instead of just
for
going
sure.
with the flow and just being like, oh,
Let me
they're
get
both great.
I'll take them both.
All
Then
those
they're gonna worry about money and they're, you know what, just hack my Fire Stick.
all those people that booed Drake were Disney kids.
Oh, that. And if we had to take a number of how many people or actors and actresses and musicians from Disney's camp as opposed to the people who grew up in Nickelodeon, a lot more people from Disney ended up doing drugs. So
That's true.
if there's definitely something going on over at Disney, I'm not gonna ignore that. But Nickelodeon was great too, and I can't wait. I can't wait, man. Like you said, Keenan and Kel, all that. The Amanda Show was hilarious.
That slime show.
Nickelodeon has their own award shows.
Gas.
What are some of the greatest, apart from movies? What are some of the greatest things that Disney's put on?
Like the Egyptian game show. What was that shit called?
You're talking about the one where they had the giant head talks. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Oh, that was Astroworld. That was
Wow. It's like something of the temple or something. Raiders of the I don't know. I can't remember the name. But it was a good show. Real quick though, you mentioned Monique. We're kind of running out of time, so I have a couple things I want to run through real fast. Monique is obviously suing Netflix. It's kind of big news right now. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that she was fairly unfairly mistreated and handled accordingly, or do you think like her and Wanda Sykes both apparently been through some ish, and Wanda Sykes, I don't know if she's suing, but Monique is suing, and I think it's kind of like I have mixed feelings about the whole situation.
Before, I'm the type of person, I think it's my personality and build though. I'm the type of person when I realize that when other people have an issue with your work and you have to remember what business you're in. First, you're in entertainment. So you can't force people to like you or want to work with you. It's not like when you work in stand-up or comedy or music, nobody said they have to like you.
Yeah.
There's not one thing. If people don't respond to you well, you don't get paid, but it's still whoever's offering that. I could be the funniest person in the world and people don't like me as a person and refuse to work with me. Now, whether you're racist or any kind of prejudice, or you don't like me because I'm fat or whatever, that's not on me.
Yeah.
That's you have to respect who is in charge. And I know that we're in an era of backlash and we're in an era of doing what's right, but you have to remember what you do and who you work for. And when you work for yourself, no one is entitled to work with you, no matter the reason. So just kind of be mindful. But ahead, moving forward, if in fact there's some kind of off-screen prejudice being held against her because her claim is that because of her race and also because of her gender, on top of that, because they did make the argument for how did you guys give Amy Schumer a special and pay her so much, but then I only got this and I only got that. Well, I don't know the answer. It's all gonna be personal idea after that.
I just try to think about because part of me is torn between saying yes, this is discrimination against a black woman, and then also torn between thinking about the last couple of years when I think of comedy, the last decade. I think of all the guys who've kind of been on top: Nick Swartzen, Amy Schumer, not even Key and Peele. There's a plethora of individuals who've really been on top and kind of maintained a foothold in the comedy realm. Some people have fallen off, obviously. Nick Swartzen is one of those people. He was on top. I haven't heard nothing about him. I would see this as a problem if somebody like him was getting a bag like this all of a sudden. Then I'd see a real issue. Amy Schumer, I feel has been at top of the comedy chain for females for years.
But she actually hasn't, though. The one big gripe with Amy Schumer is she was caught stealing jokes numerous times from the comedic artists.
I believe it because Carlos Mencia was at the top, and they said he was stealing jokes. But at one point in time, they were on top. Amy Schumer now, I think the last thing, she was in a movie last year, I think. That's the last thing I heard from her. I haven't heard no stand-up specials from her coming out. I don't like that. But she has had them in the past. Dave Chappelle, obviously, since Dave Chappelle's show, he's been sought after forever. He's kind of I can't even think of somebody off the top of my head who I can compare him to, saying this would be the equivalent of such and such coming back to the rap game or to the music game or something and drop. Dave Chappelle is the equivalent of Outkast coming back together and dropping an album. Mm-hmm. Him coming back to comedy is that equivalent. Eddie Murphy too. His movies have been falling off fine or whatever, but people love Eddie Murphy. People want him to do good. They want him to succeed.
That's because it's not just content. It's likability.
Same thing for Will Smith. Delivery. Same thing for Will Smith. His movies have not been doing as good as they were, but people want Will Smith to succeed. They want to see Will Smith movies and go, that's what I'm talking about, Will. Glad to see you back in the saddle. They don't want to just see Will Smith movies oh, you suck, you're tired, you're a has-been. They want to see him. They want to see a good Will Smith movie. So they're going to keep giving him the opportunity to make those movies. But if people are not as interested in your content, then it's hard for somebody, especially a big company, to say, hey, let's put all this money on you and hope that you bring in these viewers. Because if they don't, people are always saying, Netflix is, they're at their final, limits basically. And if they don't get that bag from you that they want, then okay, we gave you all this money and now we're done.
There's one thing I didn't like about Monique acting out the way she did though. When this first started a while back, and I think it started maybe pushing a year now, maybe
a year or two ago, maybe.
You have to have more confidence in yourself as a person. Sports is always relatable to me because I grew up playing sports. So when you're good at something, if Monique considers herself funny and good at comedy, which you have to remember, you might be the funniest person in your area, but on a wide stage, you have to be relatable, right? And I'm not saying she's not relatable, but she knows that she's funny. She knows she has a big crowd, a big following. She knows she caters to women. She knows she caters to the African-American community and just to the everyday person who's with that, kind of a hood edgy to it, to a grown, very grown material. And if you know that you're worthy of something, the only part that she may be comparing herself to someone else is because they're of different race. But artistry wise, don't compare yourself to anybody else, because I don't care if somebody has more fans than me. If I know I'm funnier than you, I'm at peace. And she just sounds like she was very, very much so not at peace. And that's what kind of irritated me. But if she has if she's trying to address, ulterior motives with rejecting her work, then, obviously go about it. And I'm just kind of a bystander on this because I'm not black, so I can't touch on those issues too much. And I'm also not a woman, so I can't touch on those issues.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of watching it. All I know about is entertainment, because we watch it.
Yeah.
So in my personal opinion, Monique is funnier than Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
But the way she said it made it come off like I'm jealous of your money. Just go get it your way. Yeah. Go somewhere else. have some pride is what I'm saying. But still say what you got to say.
Last but not least, before we get out of here, guys, I just wanted to kind of just drop some bits of whatever we're doing, whether it be books or whatever we got going on, YouTube channels, music, movies, whatever you guys might be interested in at the time. Just give it a quick little shout out so our viewers can maybe listen to that and pick it up if they want to, or if they're interested in anything. Just something you're messing with. We'll just call it that. Something you're messing with.
For as far as books for me, like I read some of the old school classics, and I always go back to White Fang. That's like one of my favorite books ever written. Is that one? I like being outdoors, like the adventure stuff. That's probably why I have the job that I have. I'm outside looking at trees and crowd, and as a black man, you're like, "What are you doing?" But but I think that's literally tied because of those books and all that. But I got into the series. Drake actually put me onto the 48 Laws of Power and all that by Robert Greene. But he has two other books called The Art of War, and the other one's called Mastery.
All right. That's enough. This is just let me get one. Let me get one this week.
I'm a big music head, and we talked about Flog Gnaw, so I got to go with some music stuff. Just keep it simple. If you go to YouTube, I'm always on NPR Music, Tiny Desk. Just look that up on YouTube. A lot of live performances. People that you normally wouldn't listen to them live, and let that captivate you. Don't just listen to a regular track. Watch them sing it live. That and Colors. If you type in Colors on YouTube as well, you'll see a lot of live performances. It's pretty good.
I want to shout out The Outer Worlds. It's a video game. It was pretty fun. It was kind of short, but it was good. It was from Obsidian. It's a RPG open world type game. It was pretty fun.
That's dope. For me, it'd just be some TV media kind of stuff. King and Ashura. It's a little bit, it's weird. It's a 50-50 for me because I don't like the animation specifically, and I don't like that we learn about all these characters and they just either get killed off or beat up real quick. I feel like that's a little bit unnecessary. But the plot of it being billionaires and huge corporations getting somebody to fight for them and then to win, whatever. Oh, I get this building. Oh, I get to own part of your company, or whatever it is. I think that's a really interesting premise, and I like the way the show kind of goes about that in that area. I feel like very similar to Baki, another anime about fighting, but that one just gets really out there, and there's not really a plot besides the kid wants to beat up his dad. That's so if you guys mess with anime or anything like that, go ahead and give that a shot.
Oh, one last thing. One thing I'm keeping my eye out for is that video game system by Google.
You got a game system trying to come out?
They have a game system coming out where you could plug it into just about every TV, every monitor. It's gonna be great. So I would do some research on Google video games and let your mind go with that one.
They're just gonna take all your information as soon as you play. They're gonna play you. Oh, look at this.
For real. Jeez. That about wraps up this episode. Once again, this has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. That's one word. Also, don't forget to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and subscribe to us on YouTube at Culture by the Uncultured, and that's going to be multiple words. Rate us on Apple Podcasts, 5 stars. Leave us some comments on YouTube. Also, be sure to visit our website, www.culturebytheuncultured.com. And last but not least, you guys will be able to check us out on Google Play soon, and we'll let you guys know when that is available. Catch you guys next time. See you later.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.